It's one of the perks of working for the BBC that staff can consult the dedicated medics of Casualty without an appointment. Oh, hello, Charlie. You all right? Is this a good moment?
Yes, good.
Nice to see you again.
How are you? Is it the same old problem?
I think it is, actually, yeah. Can you see me all right?
Yeah, we'll sort you out, don't worry. Now, you've been watching this show for...
Oh, donkey's years. I tell you what I like. I love the twist. You know,
Yeah.
the bloke on the stepladder, will he fall off?
Yeah,
the
yeah.
woman frying the chips. That's what I like.
Oh, it's wonderful, isn't it?
That's the best bit.
I'll show you a twist.
Go on.
I'm not Charlie.
What are you talking about?
Piece of salt? Come here.
I'm Charlie. He's Charlie.
For the first time that we know of, actor Derek Thompson, aka Charlie, is appearing here with his real-life alter ego, Nurse Peter Salt.
We've all got complaints about the peripheral bits and bobs that happen around the edges of the NHS, and people will always come out with these stories, but that's always countered with somebody that then has known somebody that has been really ill. And at the end of the day, if you're really ill or you've been really badly injured, the place you need to be is in the NHS.
Everyone has an affection for the NHS and at heart a real kind of notion of dependence. In its way, it's keyhole drama. It takes you through a locked door. You see into a room that you would normally not get into. And I think, I'm not sure if that's always reassuring, but we do like to go in there and see that, and I think actually it comes out, I think the picture of the NHS that comes out is very reassuring. To you.
Is this one all right, Charlie and co make taking care of patients look easy.
That's him at his best.
But don't be fooled. One former doctor had other experiences.
Tuesday, 5th of July 2005. Trying to work out a 70-year-old lady's alcohol consumption to document in the notes. I've established that wine is her poison. I ask, how much wine do you drink per day, would you say? About 3 bottles on a good day. OK. And on a bad day? On a bad day, I only manage 1.
Adam Kay's written a best-selling memoir about his time as a medic. If the NHS is our new religion, this was one doctor who wasn't comfortable playing God.
Patients don't want to think of their doctors as being too human. So this is the person who's interpreting the MRI of your brain. You want to think of them as completely infallible, like God or Google. You don't want to think of them as someone who gets sick and gets sad and makes mistakes. And that, in turn, makes you feel a bit superhuman as a doctor because you have to act up to it. I left medicine ultimately when I had an extremely bad day at work. I was the most senior person on the ward, on labour ward, and we had the most unimaginable catastrophe. And I suddenly realised that I couldn't do it. And when I told my bosses, well, they obviously heard of the disaster that had happened, and it was nothing I'd done wrong, it was just a terrible set of circumstances. It was as if I'd said I'd sprained my ankle. Sort of, oh no, you were right, that's awful, but you can still do clinic tomorrow, right? Because there's no slack in the system that means you can leave on time. There's certainly no slack in the system that means that they can, bring in someone to cover you for a week.
Would you mind if I have a little listen to baby?
No,
Just
no, that's fine.
is that okay?
The sounds of busy NHS wards set to music. A composer and a Radio 3 producer joined forces with the Bach Choir and health service staff to put together a piece entitled The NHS Symphony.
The NHS is as much a part of our lives at every stage as the church is for people who go to church and find it incredibly important. And I think what's really unifying about the NHS is it doesn't matter what you believe in and what specific background you come from, that it's almost like a place where everyone comes together.
The new Bishop of London and the first woman to hold the post is Dame Sarah Mullally. She found her vocation at 16, but in her early career, her calling led her to nursing. At one time, she was Chief Nursing Officer of England.
The NHS is part of our, I think, woven fabric of British identity, and it reflects, for me, the sense that we have a society that's interested in the common good, the need to demonstrate compassion and care. But just like the Church of England, the NHS is also questioned, and rightly so. You know, religion is questioned, and I think that's absolutely right that we continue to question the NHS and to.
So it can't be a sacred cow.
I don't think it is. I think if you ask anybody today working in the NHS, they don't feel they are working as part of a sacred cow.
But how do you broach changing the NHS in a noisy and turbulent political culture?
One of the challenges that MPs are up against is how is their discussion mediated, and it's often through the media, and the media often loves to interpret it. If you're opening a discussion about where you spend money, they will interpret it as this is a debate about privatisation.
I think that's fair up to a point, but I think if you're a government minister talking about that, you can expect quite a bit of opposition pushback.
Yeah, you can, but you need to create environments in which that is debated.
Back on the set of TV's favourite A&E department, it's a double celebration. 70 years of the NHS and also of its star Derek Thompson. Celebrations have a funny way of turning out on Casualty.
Right, scalpel, please.
Scalpel. It's the closest I could find.
It'll do.
Sorry, Charlie, I'm new to all this.
It's all right, it'll have to do. Right, that's the last one. I think we've saved it.
Oh, many congratulations. You and the NHS. Good job.